The Boys is returning on the 13th of June for its 4th season, and let me tell you, I've been giggling and kicking my feet non-stop. For 3 seasons in a row, this show has been spectacular, and that trend does not show any signs of stopping. From what we've been shown so far in trailers, combined with Gen V setting the stage, and some sneaky extra reading on the side, I'm almost certain that this new season will be the best we've ever seen.
I'm better! I am better!
Now you may be thinking that that's the most lukewarm take you've ever heard, and to that I'd say get f***ed. But if you are thinking that, just keep it to yourself, or there'll be big trouble. Once I go through my 3 key reasons that this season will be the best yet, I guarantee everyone will be in agreement. Now before I get started, I guess I have to say spoiler warning for the ending of Season 3, but realistically, if you haven't seen Season 3 but clicked on this video, there is no hope for you. Reason number 1. Lots of new characters. Who doesn't love new things, right? And from the looks of things, Season 4 is chock full of new soups and characters joining the roster. Here's what the ones we know of so far. Sister Sage, who will be joining the 7th. She is the world's smartest person, so I'm guessing sort of like an Ozymandias vibe from Watchmen, and from the sounds of it, doesn't really have public safety as her number 1 priority.
You get to swoop in, be the one saving it.
Like Caesar.
Like Caesar.
Firecracker, who will also be joining the 7th. She's basically what would happen if Queen Maeve and Tucker Carlson had a baby. Showrunner Eric Kripke describes her as a representation of the conspiracy-minded movement and the super extreme right-wing news media. So overall, the 7 is looking pretty fucked. Next is Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character, who we know very little about. Seemingly he's an ally to Billy Butcher, so perhaps we're looking at a new member of the Boys. And finally, whatever the hell this is. Reason number 2. The story is poised perfectly. We've got so many plots and subplots happening simultaneously in this new season, and they've all got the potential to be insane. Some of the most notable ones are the relationship between Homelander, Butcher and Ryan. As we saw from the finale of Season 3, Ryan chose to leave Butcher and be with his real father, Homelander. And now in Season 4, we see that Ryan is still with Homelander and his powers are developing. This, coupled with the fact that Butcher now has a brain tumour and less than 6 months to live, makes for some potentially very exciting family drama.
Catch me outside, how about that?
Next is the Soups virus. In Gen V, we discover that there was a virus developed that was capable of killing Soups, and in the post-credits scene, we see Butcher in the underground lab where they developed the virus. Now this begs all sorts of questions like, how does it work? Do the Boys have the virus, or was it destroyed? And will it even be strong enough to kill Homelander? There's always a slight concern with things like this, where some silver bullet magically appears and the good guys win despite all odds. But if it's done right, and not just used as a cop-out, this could be the most important plotline of the season. The last one is the political climate. It's election season in the Boys universe, and head exploder Victoria Neiman is in the running to become vice president. It's clear that the Boys have always satirised the state of real-world politics, with Eric Kripke explicitly stating that Homelander was partially inspired by Donald Trump. So it will be very interesting to see what parallels may be drawn from the show and the actual election going on in America this year. But in terms of the actual show, Newman becoming VP could have some very serious ramifications, as we know that behind the scenes she's working with Homelander. Now whether she's doing this purely to serve her own means or just out of self-preservation remains to be seen. But one thing's for sure, regardless of who wins the election, there's going to be chaos on the streets, and it doesn't seem like anyone has any intention of stopping it. And that brings me perfectly onto my 3rd reason, which is
malfunction detected. Initiating reboot. Subscription required. Subscription required. Awaiting subscription. Subscription received. Rebooting.
which is Homelander. Realistically speaking, Homelander is the main draw to the show, and is by far the most captivating character. He's gone from a lunatic who's weirdly obsessed with milk to a deeply developed, psychopathic, power-obsessed man-child who's still weirdly obsessed with milk. It's often very daunting for TV shows when confronted with the question, how do we top the previous season? And in terms of Homelander, according to Eric Kripke, character development is taking centre stage in the 4th season. He says in an article, He's a dense, psychological snake's nest of neediness and vulnerability and self-hatred, and he's going to deal with it in some pretty gnarly ways. There's an episode this season where it could be the scariest we've ever seen. And then he says, I called Anthony after looking at the dailies, and I'm like, wow man, this is some next level scary and not just by being violent, but just how unhinged he is. It's a delight. Now surely I'm not the only one that hears that and becomes just slightly aroused.
What do you mean by that?
I cannot wait to see what he is referring to. That, coupled with this photo, I am salivating.
Stop it. Get some help.
But now it might be time to break out the tinfoil hats. Just hear me out this one, okay? I think by the end of season 4, Homelander will be president of the United States. I know it sounds insane, please just listen. We all know that the footage of Homelander letting the plane crash is out there, and when threatened with its release, he said,
I'd prefer to be loved. I would. But if you take that away from me, well, being feared is A1 okie doke by me.
Now, although this isn't true, and he in fact craves the affection and adoration of the masses, I do think the threat is real. From the ending of season 3, we know that Homelander's fans accept him for his true self and aren't averse to a bit of senseless killing. And so, with the people behind him, I think it's only a matter of time before Homelander snaps and decides to take control. But if that isn't enough to convince you, get a load of this. This is a scene from the Boys comic book where the Supes band together and mount an insurrection on the White House. Now I know the show doesn't really follow the comic books, but come on, you know I'm right, it's undeniable. I reckon season 4 will end with Homelander sitting down in the Oval Office, doing a classic evil stare looking out the window, perfectly setting up season 5. But if you still somehow disagree, comment down below your predictions for season 4. And with that, we've reached the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to subscribe, and why not check out this other video where I break down the greatest cinematic villains of all time.